I'm calling this meeting to order. My name is Peter Hoffman, Chair of the Economic Development Committee. This is a remotely conducted open meeting. As a preliminary matter, this meeting may be audio or video recorded. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Paul Anderson.
Here.
Jeff Green.
Here.
Corinne Gustafson.
Here.
I'm Peter Hoffman. With any luck, Jason Rowell will come in a moment. For the quorum of the committee present, I call this meeting to order at 6:04 on Monday, February 26th, 2024. So, I think we can deal with the minutes. Did you guys have a chance to glance at them?
I did. I'm fine. Just you talked about adding Corinne's minutes. Slide.
Slideshow.
I
Yeah.
think that'd be great to the 8th of November.
All right. Therefore, I make a motion to admit the minutes. No. To accept the minutes as written. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion. All that are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? All right, that takes care of the 3 minutes, which is June 26th, September 18th, and November 8th. Let me just make a note of the slides. Okay, I'll give you an update on the sign. Number 2, I've gotten affirmative permission from the property owners to put it where we discussed by the veterinarian fence. Got the thumbs up from Fred and a tacit thumbs up from Ed Hunter, Berlin General Store, to sponsor it. I think I may have mentioned that perhaps last time. He hasn't had a chance to review the, hold on a second, let me get rid of this. Sorry. He hasn't had a chance to review the presentation I gave him, but I'm confident he'll follow through. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
So you said that you think that and who is it, Mr. Munter?
Yeah, Ed Munter, the general store owner.
Yeah. You think that you think he'll approve, he'll sponsor?
He said he would like to sponsor it, not he's going to consent.
Oh, okay.
Like to sponsor it.
All right.
Remembering that part of town will direct some traffic his way.
Yep.
Um,
And you talked to Fred and the vet. I know you've already been talked to the vet hospital, and they were good.
yeah. So sadly, I didn't come through with getting his final approval, and then we could bring it to the planning board, and then we bring it to the select board. The tentative plan remains to keep it the same size and same format and same colors.
Good.
Different language, of course.
Yep.
So that's pretty much that. And then tomorrow there's a bit of a summit at Solomon Pond Mall. They're hosting our town administrator, Tim Wheeler, the Marlboro mayor, the EDC director, which is Meredith Harris, senior leadership from Solomon Pond Mall, which is Spinoso, the managers of the mall, an attorney, and Matt Bader, who is with the senior leadership. They're doing this that's happening at 1 o'clock if anybody wants to join. They're doing this to discuss zoning.
Right.
Between the two towns. There's not much to report on my end except that it's happening. And
One thing you said, Peter, was the senior
leadership.
Leadership. Is Liz Kelly gone?
No, I'm sorry. She's there.
You mentioned
she'll be there. Liz is the host.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. Who's Spinoso then? Is that a person?
Spinoso is the property manager.
Okay, and that's a person, or is that a company?
That's a company.
Okay.
Yeah. And sorry, my voice is a bit hoarse.
No, that's fine. I
It's a
just didn't know
company
who it
that,
was,
that
but-
took over from Pacific, which is the previous property managers.
Right. Gotcha. That's who, okay.
Oh, here's Jason in just a second. Here we go. Jason,
Good afternoon or good evening.
how are you?
Good. I'll get my camera going here.
Where did you jump in?
I heard everything right when you hit start the recording. I was on.
Oh, good, 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 good.
So I got your update.
Good. Are you in support of, just informally in support of the minutes as they are?
Yes, I didn't have time to really review them, but Paul usually does a nice job.
Thank you.
Yes, thank goodness for Paul. Anyway, so this summit is taking place tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They're flying in a couple of people that are coming from Rochester, if I'm not mistaken, and an attorney just to make sure everything goes the right direction. So that's pretty much all I know. Any questions?
No, I'm just trying to make sure I catch everybody. So it's our town administrator, Tim Wheeler, you. And then from
Liz,
yeah, obviously Liz Kelly, yeah.
the mayor,
Okay, so Marlboro Layer is gonna be there.
if I understand things correctly, the Economic Development Executive Director, which is Meredith Harris, as you know.
Yeah,
Matt Bader, Bader,
yep, yeah.
and an attorney whose name I didn't write down.
That's all right. Matt Bader, we've talked to him. Tim mentioned him at the last meeting.
Yes.
Did they submit anything for the town warrant? Not that you know of, right? We don't know.
I don't think so. I think Tim and I, or really Tim, thought that it made sense to present an informal presentation to the planning board 6 months ago, and they were reluctant to do that. They
Right.
wanted every I dotted and T crossed. Finally, that happened, and I'm sure Tim encouraged them to work with the planning board to put something on the town warrant, but I've heard nothing.
Yeah. So they did finally meet with the planning board sometime since our November meeting.
Yes, as far as I recall.
Okay.
I think it's so big that they wanted to bring Marlboro in. They want to make sure that all their options are covered.
Right. Yeah, I think that it didn't sound like they're going to be able to get everything together to be ready to go for the town warrant, which is the deadline's passed. So, although you'll find out tomorrow, but I agree with you. I doubt they did anything.
Yeah. Unless they have a placeholder, but I don't think.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got. Corinne, you're up.
Okay, yeah, so I went with Peter to meet with the select board on January 22nd, and we had a couple ideas to run by them. One was the 5K. They seemed to be in favor of that and gave me the green light to go ahead with that and gather more information and try to get that going. I approached a local running club, the Highland City Striders, based in Marlborough, and they are offering their support to help in the way that they can. Let's see. And I also secured a location to do the race from, the Berlin Orchards. Jerry Byrne.
Yep.
Sure, yep. He seemed to be very happy to do that. That would be a very quiet back road, lots of parking, a back road to do the run on. People might bring their families, do some apple picking. So that would be in late October, near the end of his season. So it benefits him getting more business in. And then I'll work on getting a business sponsorship packet together that I can approach local businesses and see who's interested in being involved. So that's going ahead. And I'm working on next steps with, figuring out permits and all the rest of that I need to do to get this going. So, and so the other thing, well, two other things. One was I suggested to the select board that it might be nice during summer months to have a porta potty somewhere in the downtown area for outdoor enthusiasts, people, visitors to the town, make it more visitor friendly. And they said, well, let's look into it. We don't want to poo-poo the idea,
Yeah.
according to Peg.
resist.
So Peter is looking into getting quotes, and I'm going to talk to the church, somebody with the church, to see how they would feel about the idea somewhere on the property, maybe at the back of the property where it's not, visible and unsightly. So that's just some things we're looking into. And then the third thing, oh, sorry, go ahead, Peter.
Paul, do you think I suggested that Corinne talk to Tom Andrew? Do you think that's a good person?
Sure, although Tom, what's his involvement with town stuff anymore? I mean,
Well,
he was on the select board, obviously.
he's on the planning board.
Is Tom still, is he Mac again?
He rejoined, yep.
Okay,
But he's also a member of the church, isn't he?
he might very well be. I don't know, Peter, but that's, sure, he should absolutely talk to Tom. There's no reason not to.
And for sure, if Tom's the wrong person, he'll tell you which direction to go.
Is there a possibility of, I don't know, what about 19 Carter? I mean, can that be used for those purposes, or are they for running? For runners or somebody who needs a porta potty, but it's not available 24 hours a day. That's the problem, obviously.
Yeah, and I did talk to Evie about that. And she said she's happy to have cyclists, runners, people who are outdoors stop in when they are open. There's often on weekends a lot of people that come through in the earlier hours when the 19 Carter is not open.
Okay.
So she was in support of the idea that it would be nice to have something like that in the area.
All right.
But she's open to people stopping in, of course. If they need to use the bathroom, she's fine with that.
Okay.
But like I said, outside of the hours that the 19 Carter is open, just a thought.
Yep.
That we're looking into, see what it costs.
Sure. Yep.
And I think that Corinne's idea was to have the porta potties there all the non-winter months available 24/7. Is that right?
Yeah, just during the warmer months when there's people who are outdoors and may not want to go and knock on somebody's, a business's door necessarily to use their bathroom if they're out with the kids, in the hiking and that sort of thing. So
Good.
moving on to the electric charging station. So I just got a email back. So I have somebody who they came to Berlin and they did a site visit, and they are working on a proposal or a quote. They don't have it together right now, but he sent me an email with just the costs. So for 2 ChargePoint level 3 fast chargers stations with 5 years of service and warranty, shipped on site, commissioned and installed, would cost $85,000 plus tax. Our incentives with state and utility would be $80,000.
How
So
much?
$80,000.
So the net cost is 80 or the net cost is 5?
5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then but that's without, so there's signage and bollards which the town could do, and that would save us some money. So that's not including, the extras of some of that stuff that we could do as a town to get it in place.
Who prosecutes the application for these grants? You or him?
Him. Yeah, I think they get us the grants, they do the paperwork.
Sure sounds like you scored.
Yeah, this is looking better than the last time I talked to him, so
Right.
it's true, yeah. I'm waiting for the proposal through the email, but so I have more information coming, but we'll see what he says.
I make a motion to double your pay.
Awesome. All right, I'm in.
Good.
That's it for me. Those are my updates.
So what's the next thing in terms of this particular charging station?
So once he sends me the proposal, he didn't have time to get it. I told him, I emailed him this morning. I said, we have a meeting tonight. Do you have anything at all for me? And so he said, apologized that he didn't have actually the proposal ready, but he did just give me the numbers so I could present to you. So once I get something in hand, I'll have more information, and then I'll go forward with that.
So can we take a straw poll and get a sense of how desirable or undesirable a $5,000 net cost is for 2 charging stations in the right place? Does everybody think that's reasonable or not so much?
So
I mean,
go ahead, Jason.
I mean, that sounds plenty fair to me. These are leased stations.
Yeah, I don't have, all the details exactly, what it would be, whether we lease it or we buy it. There was a 5-year, at least, service fee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely, we need to find out whether we own it or if we're just leasing from them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And who pays for the electricity?
The users would, we set the rate. So, but on that note, I did stop by. I saw there was a charging station just next door in a town next door, and stopped by and checked it out. And it was at double the cost of home kilowatts, whatever we pay for home usage. So I backed up and left. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to be pretty desperate to stop and use it if I, but.
But isn't that pretty standard, like a Tesla charging station and some of these, aren't they typically almost double the kilowatt of what you would pay at home?
No, the one up at Panera Bread is a little bit more. I think it's 30. I looked it up. Sorry, I should have this on hand, but I did look it up, and it's not that much more than home. So say if home is 28 up there at the Tesla station, it's 35. But at the neighboring town charging station, it was 60 or 70.
Wow.
Took a screenshot of it. If I find it before the end of the meeting, I'll get back to you on that. But I've never seen a car there either. So I don't know if, you could charge a little bit more, but you can't, you can't.
An Air model seems to be a little bit more moderate.
Use-
Who sets the rate? We do?
we would set the rate. So we want it to be, competitive, but to make a little money, but you're never going to make enough to pay it. Well, it would take a few years to pay off, $5,000.
And the town actually gets whatever, there's a cost to electricity, and then town actually gets the money that they charge above the cost of electricity. It comes to the town.
Yep.
Maybe the way to keep them unused is charge too much. Nobody will use them. It'll look pretty. It'll look impressive, and call it a day.
So what does the charge cost, Corinne? If you're gonna sit there, I mean, I have zero idea. So when we say we're gonna make some money, how, so you charge 10% more.
Yeah, probably something like that,
Yeah.
that users would
Like-
be willing to pay for if they
Right.
need it, but they're not gonna go off and go up to Panera Bread and
Right.
charge instead.
And so what is, I mean, I'm just I have no idea about the economics of this in terms
Like,
of,
what is a full tank of?
of electricity cost, right? What is an hour of charging or what, however many kilowatts you're using?
But if I go up to Panera for 200 miles, it may cost me $8, maybe
Okay.
$10.
Is that a supercharger?
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to fill 3/4 of a tank, so to speak?
Yeah, like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on.
Wow.
So that's why they have restaurants and stuff nearby. You just go in and buy something and.
Well, that sounds worthy. Is there anything else, any other irons in the fire in terms of chargers?
Well, and so where are we thinking? I mean, the last time we had the National Lumber folks on, he didn't seem too excited about giving up 2 parking spaces in his relatively limited lot for charging stations.
Yeah, so 2 sites were looked at by this company. One was there next to between the lumber store and the general store, and the other one was opposite 18, the old town hall, 1860.
Yeah, the church over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so both they have the transformer that allows them. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm sorry. I was.
And they would, and Corinne, the 85K covers them installing it and all that stuff.
Yeah, so that would be through grants, through various sources. So yeah, getting it installed, National Grid would install it. And
Okay.
they have grants, so we don't pay, they cover 100% of installing it.
Right,
And then
right.
ChargePoint has some grants, and then I'm not sure about the government grants because the last time I looked, the window had closed on that and we couldn't apply. But, given the climate, they're going to reopen that and hopefully that, so I'm keeping an eye on that anyway.
So is there a monthly or yearly cost that we have to pay?
Probably if we're on their grid, which makes us findable by the apps on everybody's phones, but if they're looking for a place to charge, there must be some subscription fee for that, I'm assuming. But like I said, I haven't read his proposal yet, so.
Okay.
But that makes us accessible and then we get more, traffic.
Just what we need.
Traffic to the charger.
No,
But yeah, but if you don't want that, then we don't
I'm pulling your
don't
leg.
have to go on the grid.
All right, now I'm pulling your leg. Paul might be in that camp though.
What camp is that? I'm trying to figure out the economics of this. So you don't think we'll make money?
No, I think we might make enough to pay it off over a few years, the cost of putting it in, but it's not a
Right.
money-making enterprise, really.
Okay.
It's more about bringing people in and giving them options, saying instead of going to Panera, they might come this way and
Right.
stop at somewhere. Not that we have a big downtown area that we want to draw people to necessarily. I'm not sure.
You gotta figure
I'm
if
just-
a tank is $8, even with a markup, maybe you're getting $1 a car.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's you're not making $8 every half hour. You're making $1 every half hour when it's being used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, this
No.
is not to make money. This is purely to,
Right.
yeah, bring people in.
As a courtesy.
Yeah,
Pull people in. No, I understand. But when we go, if we do this and go to the town meeting and say, well, we think it's going to cost us 5,000. Somebody's going to ask the question of, okay, so what is it real? I mean, is it 5,000 or once, Corinne, we talked about not advertising, but signage to get people there and so on. Maybe if there's some other costs that go in there, are those negated by the assumed usage charge? And so we're out 5,000 or are we out 10,000 or are we only out 1,000? We have to think about that. I mean, I think that's all. I'm just trying to start figuring that out.
yeah, yeah. So once I get his full proposal, I think I can put together a better report than what I have today.
That sounds great.
I think knowing this group, we're gonna analyze it pretty well and have all the answers to the questions we might be asked by the planning board, by the select board, or by the townspeople. And if not, we'll throw Corinne under the bus. That's great. That's really great.
Yes, I agree. Hey, Corinne, back to the race. Who's the Marlboro Running Club? Highland City Striders?
Highland City Striders. They're
Okay.
so they incorporate Marlboro, Northborough, Hudson, Clinton, Berlin.
Okay.
All of so they have quite a large group of members. And so what they're offering is to advertise amongst their members to come to this race. They call it a wild card. So they have a race series and then of designated races where and this would be a wild card that they're willing to add to their schedule, which is basically advertising for us to
Right.
get runners there, which is what we want. We want runners to come to it, and at least for the inaugural race. And then once it's on people's radar, then it sort of advertises itself a little bit better.
Okay.
First one, they're willing to, sort of be there in our back pocket and help out a
They
little.
also have a tendency to help provide volunteers that aren't running that are part of the group too, because they get
Yes, that's true.
they
Yeah.
get points for setting up for volunteering for events.
Yes, that's right. They get points for that. Yeah. And I was also thinking for volunteers, it might be good to approach the Tohoto High School, the track or their athletics club, and ask for students to volunteer and get a free entry to the race in return for their volunteering. So they get to volunteer, they get the school gets to be involved, the track teams often, they get competitive in these kinds of things. You know, us older people, we just do it for fun, but, so
They're a
that's,
lot faster than we are.
they're very fast. It's very intimidating.
What, can you remind me what the proceeds were going to go to for the running club?
Well, that's something that we can discuss. It hasn't been decided. You know, one option is to, for the Berlin Food Pantry. But,
How about a chocolate fund for the EDC?
Mhm. That might be a lot of chocolate, Peter.
I'm good at eating.
But no, I mean, I think that it's a great idea that you have to do this. And I think that attaching it to a good cause is obviously going to drive even more into it. I do feel like that, you know, the last sign we did, there was a lot of question on the money and where it's coming from and what we're doing. And, you know, so I think doing an event where we're raising money to go to something local certainly helps our cause with other future projects.
Well, Jason, you realize that we didn't spend a nickel of the town's money.
Oh, I know we didn't, but they were hung up on that for quite a while. I mean, in our earlier meetings and everything.
Gotcha.
So,
Who knows about Cub Scouts? Eagle Scouts for their project. I wonder if an Eagle Scout could help Corinne orchestrate this running.
yeah, that's an option too. Yeah. They might want to get
What-
involved to earn a badge or
Look at
something.
Chris Pendergast for that.
Who?
Chris Pendergast.
Is he in the fire department?
He is in the Scouts.
Gotcha. Is that something could you introduce Corinne to him?
I've only met him maybe 2 or 3 times, but
That's okay. I think I know, I know some people to ask or approach for that.
I,
See if they're
Tim
interested.
used to be Tim Wheeler used to be involved in Scouts too, so he would have contacts, I would bet.
Good. Sounds great. Anything else, Corinne?
Oh,
That's great.
Let me jump back in and read just for the recording. This this paragraph that I've sent you over email. National Lumber couldn't attend today, but I asked them if they'd give us a little paragraph or something to read into the meeting. There's really nothing more to update. This comes from Dave, the area manager. The store has been updated and re-merchandised with a new set that caters to more do-it-yourselfers and remodelers. We're running 2 trucks full-time out of the location with a dump truck that runs occasionally upon need. I believe we have some work that needs to be done in the kitchen showroom with an updated display, but Jeff is the store manager, but Jeff would know more about that than I would. At this point, to my knowledge, there are no further renovations occurring at Berlin that are approved and scheduled other than the display renovation in the kitchen area. So while that doesn't tell us a lot, it tells us at least that they're going in the right direction. So I'd say I have any questions, but I don't know the answers. I invited the usual suspects. Everybody was busy. And that's pretty much it. Jeff, any contact with Lancaster EDC?
I haven't had any contact with them in half a year, I don't think.
Should I take that off the list, or do you want to reignite that?
They were going through some significant changes last time I talked to them, so I don't know if anyone from that group is even still there, but I can try and see if they'd like to come on again.
So if you can put some closure on it and email me, and then I'll know to take it off the list or keep it.
Okay.
Good. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Does anybody know anything about the Stevens Family Foundation Museum and whether that's going to be public, private, is that going to draw people or not?
It's got the Batmobile.
I have invited them without response for the last 5 meetings. So I did not invite them today because I'm tired of it. I don't even get a return call.
Paul, I to your point, I have no clue if it's public or private. I have heard nothing either.
I tried to get a hold of them for business reasons, but I haven't had any success either.
How about one of the things I'll do is I'll remember to reach out to Tim Wheeler. I know has had some contact with them and has some information. So I'll talk to Tim. I've talked about other things too. So I'll remember to talk to him for our next meeting, see what the story is there, if he has any information.
Will you copy us all or send an email to us all? Then I can know what to do with inviting them next time or not.
Okay.
That'd be good. Anything else besides picking the next date?
Nothing official. I
Okay.
have questions for Jason, but that's after we close the meeting.
All right. I always have questions for Jason. So, couple months, 3 months, what do you think?
Well, if are we gonna do the race we're shooting for this October, right?
That's my plan, so I gotta get moving on that.
Well, yeah, and so do we need more?
Maybe April.
Yeah, I would
we're-
say a couple of months, yeah, because if Corinne's gonna need help and we need to help her in another, reach out to
Sure.
people, whatever, I think we should know about that.
So Monday, April 1st is a starting date, 8th, 15th, 22nd. What's your fancy? You've got a lot of travel, Paul, so.
The 8th is not good because the 8th, I'm in Vermont to watch the total eclipse.
I heard you say that earlier. That's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you guys, we'll have here it'll be 70 or 80%, but in northern New York, Vermont, Maine, it's going right across the United States on the 8th.
Week of the 15th is April vacation for any school type thing.
Should we do April Fool's Day?
April 1st? It's fine with me. Let me double check that.
Is that the Monday after Easter?
It is.
Yes, Easter is
The
on, yes,
31st.
that is the Monday after Easter. That is correct.
Yeah.
Is that bad for you?
No.
I don't know what days I'll have soccer practice yet. I should know soon, but
We
Monday
can
is
always
one
say
of
the 1st and make it the 2nd or 3rd. We can adjust it.
Yeah.
As soon as you know.
Yep.
Corinne, does that work?
Yep, that works. Yep.
Jason, what state will you be in on April 1st?
Chestnut Hills, where I'm working out of right now. So that's where I'll be, April.
Gotcha. So April 1st at 6 o'clock? Do we
Yep.
like 6?
That's great.
All right, unless there's anything else, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh, Jason seconds. I like it when Mr. Rowell seconds. It's my notes are easier.
All in favor?
Aye,
Oh,
aye.
aye.
I
Aye.